This is question 12, paper 1, Higher Maths 2012. We're asked to find the maximum of 2 minus 3 times the sine of an angle. So it's probably best to think of this as twice minus something. And if we're trying to find the maximum value of 2 minus something, let's think about 2 minus 1, let's think about 2 minus 2, let's think about 2 minus 3. They're getting smaller and smaller, so the maximum value would be if we make this something as small as we possibly can. Now, there's no harm in going negative. It would get even larger. So to make the maximum value of 2 minus something, we have to make that something as small as possible. So we're really trying to make this as small as possible, this part here. So we're wanting the minimum of 3 lots of the sine of this angle. Now, for this to be a minimum, the sine of this angle would have to be a minimum, and that's something you can cope with, because remember, the sine of an angle reaches a minimum of -1 when the angle is 270 degrees. Well, we're in radians here, so that's 3 lots of 90 degrees, 3 lots of pi upon 2. Remember, pi upon 2 is 90. So think radians here. So when the angle is 3 pi upon 2, the sine, this bit here, has a value of -1, which is the smallest it'll ever get. So 3 times -1 is the smallest that this ever gets, so it's the largest that 2 minus that ever gets, which is 2 plus 3. -3 times -1 is +3. So 5 is the maximum value. So the maximum equals 5. And that occurs when sine of this angle is -1. So that's what the maximum is. But we have to go back in and say, well, okay, this -1 value, this minimum that sine of this angle takes, happens when the angle is 3 pi upon 2. Let me just emphasize that by circling these. So the sine of 3 pi upon 2 in there would give you a -1 to get the -3, which you subtract, hence add the 3 to the 2 to get the 5, which is the maximum value. So 3 pi upon 2, so this occurs when this angle, x minus pi upon 3, is equal to 3 pi upon 2. Okay, that's okay. That means x, let's add pi upon 3 to both sides, that'll disappear, and we'll get 3 pi upon 2 plus pi upon 3. So a couple of fractions to add. Let's try and get them both into sixths. So we multiply this by 3 and that by 3. That'll give us 9 pi upon 6. So 3 lots of 3 pi is 9 pi, 3 lots of 2 is 6, plus multiply top and bottom of this fraction by 2. So 2 lots of pi, 2 times pi, over 2 lots of 3 is 6. So we've now got 9 pi over 6 plus 2 pi over 6. If it was 1/6 plus 4/6, for instance, you'd have 1 plus 4 lots of 6, 5/6. So you just add the top two expressions. So we have 9 pi plus 2 pi of these sixths, which is 11 pi upon 6. 9 lots of pi plus 2 lots of pi be 11 lots of pi over 6. 11 lots of pi upon 6. So the maximum of 5 occurs when x is 11 pi upon 6. So I think it's probably time to have a look at the choices, see if we can hunt that one down. There's a couple of 11 pi upon 6's. There's your 5. So maximum value of 5 when x is 11 pi upon 6. So it's choice B. Choice B.